Kubrat Pulev smiles and laughs his way to a KO loss against Anthony Joshua. He brought in a pretty crazy mindset, didn't he? What was going on with him? He was like, I'll show you tomorrow. I'll show you tomorrow at the weigh-in. And fair play to him. He really did come to win because he accepted the fact that he could get knocked out. And that's more than can be said for a lot of top boxers. I know that sounds weird, but a lot of world championship boxers do not accept the fact that they could get knocked out, or they're not at least willing to do everything to try and win and risk getting knocked out themselves to pull a victory out of the bag. Because often we'll see a lot of guys only really go for it in the last round, and we'll often find ourselves asking, why didn't you do that earlier? Why didn't you apply this strategy earlier? Then you may have won. Because they wanted that mental security of knowing there was only 3 minutes left, knowing they could probably last those 3 minutes, that they weren't going to get knocked out and they weren't going to gas out. Pulev, who was done for youth, natural size, probably natural athleticism, was already put in a difficult situation, didn't jab that much, and did try to hurt Joshua with the right hand. It didn't work. He took a lot of big shots. Fair play to him. He kept getting up. And really, he exemplified the warrior spirit of boxing. So a little cheers to him. Anthony Joshua puts in another decent performance, I think, overall. The finish was very nice. The uppercut, the straight right hand at the very end. When he attacks, when he has you going, his style makes sense. Then it's intuitive, you can see, for him. Throwing short punches and the uppercuts, it works. That's what his big muscular build is about. When you talk about just boxing, as he did for many of the rounds, though he has some okay moves and he's kind of quick and he throws like a technically correct jab and to the body as well. But he doesn't flow as a boxer. He never is. They talk about and they said the same with Dillian Whyte, they're still learning on the job. They're going to add more. Anthony Joshua is never going to be a smooth boxer. It's never going to be nice to watch because it's not in his repertoire. It's not like his build is not a classic outside boxer. They said after the fight, why didn't he throw more jabs? Because he can't. He knows his own body. If he started trying to pop the jab consistently like Larry Holmes, move around, boom, 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 he would be gassed very quickly because his build doesn't support that kind of fight. He's more of a piece it together kind of guy who once he's made the dent in you, then he goes into it, then his style makes sense. Then the heavy artillery comes out, as you'd expect with a guy of his build. And he does put the punches together well. But even at this weight, which is good for him, 240, that's more like it. Even still, if he does go for it like he did in the third round and he doesn't get you out of there, he does gas a little bit. He does need that next round to recharge. That's his physiology. That's never going to change. This isn't a video game. He's not going to one day end up in a few years with the agility of Muhammad Ali and the attacking skills of George Foreman. It doesn't work like that. Anthony Joshua is a bit of a Frankenstein situation in terms of his abilities that have been pieced together in the gym. He's more of a natural attacker. He does need to make use of the fact he's a long build with the outside boxing, but you can see it does not come naturally to him. Now, did this performance, even though it was decent overall, and it goes into still a pretty good resume, Kubrat Pulev was probably past his best again, like Povetkin. Has this added more fuel to the fire? That if we get that fight against Tyson Fury next year, that AJ is just not going to know what to do with him. That they're going to come ring centre, they're going to start trading jabs, because AJ's at least going to have to box his way in before he can think about attacking Fury. He's not a Mike Tyson, he's not a Joe Frazier, he's not going to be slipping, bending at the waist, then coming in with hooks. He's going to have to jab his way in before he tries to pin Fury down. And just in that beginning moment where they start exchanging jabs, is he going to completely lose the plot and be out at sea with a guy who knows how to move and has got him for physical advantages? I'm impressed with what AJ has shown. I think he's still getting over the demons of New York, in fairness, that first loss against Andy Ruiz. But how many more warm-up fights can we have? He seemed a little bit reluctant to mention Tyson Fury after the fight. How many more little confidence builders are we going to get in these uncertain times? We have to get AJ Fury next year. They're both already in their 30s. At this point, they are both definitely not getting any better. They are only going to get worse. It's just nature. Once you get past your early 30s, we talk about like the 30s and U20 and all that, but these guys physically aren't going to be getting any better. It has to happen next year, otherwise it continues to lose relevance. And has Anthony Joshua got the confidence? Has he got the ability to try and trap Tyson Fury? Because he's not going to be beating him by boxing him. He has to get inside. He has to use that fantastic uppercut that he does have. The uppercut that began the end in the ninth came through very quickly. And like AJ does have those flashes of brilliance where you're like, that was explosive. That was nice. That's when he's at his best. And he had to do that in the 5th round against Vladimir Klitschko, where he went, right, I'm not in control of this fight. I accept that. I'm going for it. Boom. And that's what his build supports, being more of the warrior. That's what he's going to have to do against Tyson Fury. But in those early moments when they're going to have to exchange those jabs, is he going to be able to deal with that naturally longer, at least 6'8" guy who knows how to move? Is going to maybe be going in with the mental advantages. Is going to be telling him all times to undermine him, to make him lose more confidence. The fight still has to happen. It is the fight in boxing at the moment, and it has to happen on British soil. It has to happen in Wembley. But going off that performance, and of course Fury had a fantastic performance against Deontay Wilder in the rematch. But can you see AJ piecing together a victory? Or is he just going to be way in over his head?